And so I believe as that mindset shifts from earn a big pile of money, say be terrified to invest in anything, just let the stock market do its thing, and then hope you don't spend it all down before you die because it didn't generate any passive income. I always say retirement is not an age. We all put this arbitrary age on it. I'm going to retire at
Right.
65.
Yeah.
Retirement is an income. When you
Yeah.
have enough income passively to
Mm.
you can retire. If you don't, you can't.
Welcome back, everyone, to Commercial Real Estate Unfiltered. I'm your host, Caleb David. We are here to create space and build community. So we hope you really enjoy this guest that's going to be joining us today. So we've got Adam Williams with us today. He's a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Elevest Capital. He's the creator of the More Framework, co-founder of the More Club education community, which we'll hear more about. And he's also the author of More, specializing in helping passive investors build durable wealth and transition away from earned income through multifamily investments. Adam, thank you so much for being here
Yeah,
with us.
appreciate you having me, Caleb. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
No, and even just the when we first started talking before we hit record, I mean, just love your energy and positivity, and would love to maybe start out with it. How did you end up where you are? What was kind of your career path, and how did you land in this place?
I'll tell you, first and foremost, energy and positivity is the only way to be, right?
Yeah,
Because
agreed.
if I don't get up with a big smile on my face and full of energy every day, I don't know what I'll do. Probably just go into a spiral somewhere. So no, I love that and same. So grateful to be here. I grew up with a father that, kind of ran his own business. He had a little construction business and stuff, and he owned real estate on the side. It was kind of like his little thing, and it was nothing special. It was very class D,
Yeah.
little slumlord housing, but he just always kind of put it in my veins that, when you start running a business or earning money somehow, you need to invest in real estate. And like most kids, I never listened. So I would go to these apartment buildings. He had little, like 5 unit, and then a
Yeah.
duplex and whatever. And I'd go to these things with him and they were just really gross, if I'm being honest, like
Yeah.
cleaning out, like just crappy, like, people would move out in the middle of the night and skip out on rent. And so I just wasn't attracted to it. And then when I became like in my late teens and started my first business, I've been building businesses for 30 some years now. But when I started building my first businesses and having a little bit of success and earning some active income, I met a guy that was doing it. Not my dad. My dad told
Yeah.
me all this need to do it, didn't listen to him. But I met a guy who was very successful investing in real estate and partnered up with him and did a bunch of single family deals early on started in 2004.
Okay.
And then about 2 years into that journey, realized that single family was the craziest thing and very difficult to scale or
Yeah.
be successful, at least in my mindset. And so found a guy that was all in on apartment buildings and all he did was multifamily and hitched my wagon to his and just learned everything that he
Mhm.
could teach me and never looked back. Went
Yeah.
all in on multifamily, and that's where we are today. And that's all I teach. I teach
Yeah.
multifamily every single day. And we did 9 deals last year. I invested in every single deal. And so that's what I do.
That's awesome. Well, talk a little bit about this educational community that you have, the More platform, because I think that's something that would be of interest to our listeners.
Yeah, sure. And would love all your listeners to come join us. It's completely free. We host a community on School, SKOOL /more club, MORE club. And we are quickly becoming, I think we're growing by like 50 members a day right now.
Wow.
And we're quickly becoming the number one multifamily real estate investor platform on School. So, it's funny because MORE stands for maximizing opportunities in real estate, by the way.
Got it.
And so my wife and I and our partner Justin, which he's been a coach for 20 years, he's done over 3,000 flips, so he's a real estate guy through and through as well. We started this more thing, this maximizing opportunities in real estate about 2 years ago. And it
Okay.
was not a school community. It was nothing.
Yeah.
We're like, well, let's just start this thing and do a couple of events. And
Yeah.
so we hosted, I think, 3 or 4 events here in our office in Scottsdale, and they were very small, completely free. We just invited 30 or 40 people we knew to show up that were, everything from brokers to investors to whatever, just to kind of have a little get together and
Yeah.
see what it would become. And people really loved it. They were like, dude, this is cool. Like, we should do more of this community get together, talk
Yeah.
about what we're doing in real estate. Because you're going to have different opportunities than I have, Caleb.
Yeah.
And you're going to have different, I always call it the missing piece of our puzzle, right?
Yeah.
This real estate investing thing is a big puzzle. And like, I might need this guy or that guy or this gal
Yeah.
has something. Or so we did these events and we didn't really think much of it. And then about a year ago, My wife and Justin and I were like, we should really think through like formalizing this a little bit.
Yeah.
And Justin was using the school platform for something else, a different community he was doing. And I started getting on there, and we decided that we wanted to launch a formal community and
Mm.
call it the More Club. And so we did, and we launched it May 2nd of this year. So it's only
Okay.
a few months old.
Wow.
We're, I think, pushing 700 members already
That's
and
incredible.
growing extremely fast. And we welcome everybody in. Like I said, it's completely free. Come on in. We'd love to have you. We're extremely active. We have live Zooms every single day. We bring on members of our team, like our attorneys, our tax professionals, our resources. We do a deal flow Friday every Friday where community members come in and they present the deals they're working on,
Yeah.
and they can raise capital right within the community and bring in the
Amazing.
partners and the missing pieces of the puzzle. So anybody that's truly investing or wants to invest in real estate, come join us. We'd love to have you.
That's amazing. Well, and I know, right now, I mean, we're in somewhat of a modern retirement crisis. The people have saved their entire lives, they've got Social Security, they've got some of their different investments. Why do you think so many people have worked so hard, saved successfully for retirement, but they still live with this fear of running out of money?
Yeah. I think we're I think we're indoctrinated to a specific way of thinking, right? And my grandfather thought very different than my father, and my
Yeah.
father thought very different than me, and I
Yeah.
think different than my son will probably think, right?
Yeah.
And it's, the mindset of go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, work the same job for 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
put every penny away you can and put into your 401k and
Yeah.
max that out every year. Build this giant pile of money with the hope and pray that when you stop building the pile of money and you start taking from that pile, you won't die before the pile
Yeah.
runs out, right? That's been the way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that is shifting heavily right now, has over the past probably decade.
Yeah.
And over the next decade, that mindset's going to be completely wiped out.
Yeah.
Good, because it should be completely wiped out. Because working my butt off for 40, 50 years to save a pile of money that then my only hope is that I don't outlive it. That's a
Right.
really sad
Yeah.
way to go, in my opinion. So, what I educate people on every single day, and it is my hill to die on, is
Yeah.
yes, work really hard. If it's running a business, great. If it's working a W-2 job, great. Whatever you're good at to earn that active income,
Yeah.
earn it. And then keep it, right? Don't go blow it on stupid stuff,
Right.
and take as much of it as you can every single month, every single quarter, every single year, and find investment vehicles that create passive income.
Yeah.
Now, my investment vehicle of choice is multifamily real estate because
Yeah.
I believe unless people stop needing a place to live, apartment buildings will pretty much be full forever and their population is growing, et cetera. So, there are other things out there. But with that in mind, like if I can earn as much active income as I possibly can in my job or my business,
Yeah.
and I can keep as much of that as I possibly can after taxes and my life expenses to invest in that, we'll just say multifamily real estate in
Yeah.
this case.
Sure.
I'm going to start earning passive income immediately because
Yeah.
people pay their rents. I start getting distributions every month on my passive income, very highly taxed advantage, by the way.
Yeah.
And at some point in my life, that passive income is going to be more than my active income that I'm earning.
Right.
And once that passive income is more than that active income that I'm earning, guess what? I don't have to spend anymore. I don't have to spend that active income, which means I can invest all of it now into this vehicle over here,
Yeah.
and I can really start to compound.
Yeah.
And so I believe as that mindset shifts from earn a big pile of money, say be terrified to invest in anything, just let the stock market do its thing, and then hope you don't spend it all down before you die because it didn't generate any passive income. I always say retirement is not an age. We all put this arbitrary age on it. I'm going to retire at
Right.
65.
Yeah.
Retirement is an income. When you
Yeah.
have enough income passively
Mm.
you can retire. If you don't, you can't. So
Yeah.
start thinking that way, right?
Yeah, and I think too with what we're seeing, like I know for my kids, the livability factor for, the ability for them to buy a single family home right now is really unfortunately not on the table, right? For some time, unless we see some shifts in the market. So I think, that said, they continually see the multifamily. I know we're seeing that here in Colorado. We're seeing still tons of new builds coming up out of the ground. It has slowed a little bit, but that there is still demand for it because there are people who are not in a place yet where they can afford to buy, which I think is another great reminder, that work as hard as you can, take that money, exactly what you just said, and start retirement. And I love looking at retirement as not an age, but as income.
That's right.
And you actively professionally coach, it sounds like, people to get into this. So how would you, someone who's maybe working that W-2 job, earning whatever money they can, saving, what would you say some next good steps for them would be to get involved and start moving towards this passive income?
Yeah, I literally just did a podcast episode on this. I don't even think it's been released yet. It's probably being editing as we speak, but it might
Yeah.
be out by the time this comes out. Where I said if you have $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, what would I do with it at those kind
Yeah.
of benchmarks? And that was the premise of the podcast.
Yeah.
And if you've got 5 or 10 grand that you've saved up, because dude, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't
Yep.
save a lot of money in the beginning. That's okay.
Yeah.
But what I said is, with at least what we do in the multifamily real estate investing, you got to have some liquidity. You got to have some capital to get in that game, right? To be a
Yeah.
passive investor.
Yep.
So what I said is, for me, what I would do if I've got my first 5 or 10 grand saved, I'm going to not invest that money in try to invest that in real estate necessarily.
Right.
I'm going to actually take that money and invest it in another business or another way to maximize that capital and double that 5 to 10 and that 10 to 20 and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great ways to do that these days. There are platforms, freelance platforms like Upwork, right? As an example, where if you're good at something, let's say you're working a day job 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
but you're really good at this thing that you enjoy doing. It could be graphic design. It could be whatever. It could be anything, right? Just that you're
Yeah.
good at this thing. You can go on an Upwork platform and use that money to maybe promote yourself a little bit more and now get a bunch of clients to double that over and over. So
Yeah.
whatever your business is, or to double it. Now, once you get up to 50 grand, now you can start investing in these vehicles that I'm talking about in
Yeah.
multifamily or other real estate investment vehicles. And then my thought is just every time you can get another 50 or another 100, just maximize that as
Yeah.
much as you can, right? The
Yeah.
other cool thing I will say is, for the people out there that have, a lot of people don't even realize this. I talk to people probably every week that have been working their job for 10, 15, 20 years. They've got a lot of money in their IRA, their 401k, whatever it is. If you're able to, and not everybody can, but if you're able to move some of that into a self-directed IRA, 401k, whatever, you might not have to invest 100 grand or 50.
Right.
You might be able to take a small portion of that and start doing, whether it be fix and flips, whether that be investing passively in multifamily syndications, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's liquidity that you've already kind of put away and saved over 10 or 15 years.
Right.
You don't got to go worry about earning it today.
Right.
Right. So people should really be looking at that. What do I have?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm all in on the stock market, should I think about maybe taking some of those chips off the table and moving it and diversifying it over here as well?
Yeah.
And something that's going to start paying me passive income now.
Absolutely. I love that. These practical tips that are, I think, great nuggets of information, because I think so many people feel like there's this huge barrier, that there's not a pathway forward. So I think this brings some hope for people who want to get into this. So what would you say the practical operational differences between your active real estate hustler, that's kind of doing all the work, finding all the deals, versus participating as a truly passive limited partner, say like in a syndication?
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about this a lot in my book, right? Really deciding what path you want to go down. And most of us either have money or we have extra time.
Yeah.
Not many of us have both,
Right.
right? Yeah, I got some extra cash over here, but I have no time, or I got a bunch of time, but I don't have a bunch of money. And so you got to kind of decide, in my opinion, on what direction you want to go. Now, I think at some point, most people in the beginning start off active because they have to be, right? Because they don't have a bunch of money. So they got to be very active. They got to be active in that real estate journey. Hey, man, I can come in and I can be boots on the ground for this. I can swing the hammer. I can do a bunch of the stuff. I can underwrite deals, whatever it is to add value to maybe a team or another partner that kind of, maybe a partner has the money and I've got the time, right?
Yeah.
So you generally will start off there. But once you start to get some liquidity, some money, everybody at some point wants to become passive.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
Whether you want to get off the treadmill of being active in the day-to-day on all the things, or life makes you get off that treadmill at some point, in your elder years.
Yeah.
And so I always say, we call it a general partner, which is active, right? You're taking all the risk, you're doing all the work, you're running the deal, you're in charge of everything, you're the go-to person, you're responsible for every aspect of that deal.
Yeah.
And then the limited partner, where literally you're just an investor. Yeah. Here's my money. I trust you. Go make my soldiers work for me.
Yeah.
You do all the work. You take all the responsibility. Kick me out some cash flow every month and then protect my investment. Right.
Yeah. So how have you found that people have come to trust you? because I know there's a lot of bad guys out there that are taking advantage of people. But how do you typically find a way to build trust with investors?
Great question. The beauty of it is, and I will tell you this, the internet is a beautiful thing because you cannot hide from it.
Yeah.
And luckily, bad actors get called out, and it's just the
Mhm.
bottom line. If you treat people wrong, if you rip them off, if you lose their money, even if you didn't intend to lose their money,
Yeah.
they're going to put you on blast,
Yeah.
right? And so track record is extremely important.
Mhm.
And, we at Elevest Capital, which is my private equity firm that we raise capital for multifamily deals. That's what we do. We did
Yeah.
9 deals last year, about 212 million in real estate. We added around 1,300 units to our portfolio. We've already closed on
Yeah.
our fourth acquisition of this year. We're getting ready to launch our fifth. So we're very active. And, we manage the equity, we manage the money. We're a private equity firm. So we
Yeah.
syndicate these deals and we raise the capital and I invest alongside our investors and then we go buy the building. Now
Yeah.
we have an operating partner that operates the deal, right?
Right.
They actually run all of the renovations, all of the property management, all the construction management. Like they handle that part and we handle the money.
Yeah.
And between us and our operating partner, we're 68 deals in O. We've never lost an investor dollar,
Mhm.
period. Hands down, over $2.7 billion in real estate.
Wow.
And in addition to that, that's like the front end of what people see on the internet, and that's cool. So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But on the lender side and the brokers and the people we just got awarded our next deal this morning, 320 units, going to be,
Wow.
hasn't even been announced yet. But on the broker side and trying to get new deals, we have never, ever said we were going to do a deal with a broker and not actually done the deal
Yeah.
ever in 68. And so they know to come to us and that we're going to close if we put earnest money in and we sign the paperwork and we're not going to retrade you and we're going to actually do the deal, right? And
Yeah.
that's more on the operator side where we raise
Yeah.
the capital, but we're a partnership, right? And so it's that track record and it's the people being able to trust you.
Yeah.
And I always tell people too, the hardest questions that come about, which every investor should ask is what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yep.
And I look you right in your eye and I say, I can lose all your money.
Yep.
That is the worst thing that can happen. Now, knock on wood, that's never happened. And I'm going to do my best not to let that happen. Be honest with people.
Yeah.
Investments have risk,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
do. And
Absolutely.
we may be 68 and 0 and number 74 goes wrong. I mean, what are you going to
Right.
do? We'll do our damnedest to not let that happen.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and I love that you have this network in the More Club so people can get involved and learn about certain deals and what's going on. But how do investors use it to analyze opportunity?
Oh, it's really cool. So it's not just me. I'm very active in there. My partner's very active in there, and we have a wealth of knowledge in real estate up to over 4 decades between the two of us.
Yeah.
However, it's although we're active, it's the community that provides all the
Mhm.
value. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got people in there that are underwriting experts that are on every live Zoom answering other people's
Wow.
questions.
Yeah.
People that are tax strategists that are like, hey, here's how you should be looking at the different tax advantages of this type
Mhm.
of investment that you're looking to do in real estate. My securities attorney comes on once every 4 to 6 weeks and just answers people's legal questions. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool forum and community that is almost like a family. And I keep going back to it where you're going to come into this game and a lot of people come in as a newbie, they'll call it, and they're missing a bunch of pieces of their puzzle.
Yeah.
And so if you come in and you're active and you say, this is who I am,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing and I'm looking to do, and most importantly, this is what I need.
Yeah.
This is what I have questions on. This is what I
Yeah.
don't understand. And you're active and you jump on the Zooms and you raise your hand and you speak out. You're going to start pulling in those missing pieces of your puzzle and you're going to look down 4 to 6 months and you're going to, dude,
Yeah.
I am light years ahead of where I was when I came into this thing. And now I can start doing deals. And here's what's really cool about it. Once you start doing that and you stand out, you'll start pulling in partners or you'll
Yeah.
get on another team that's already doing deals
Yeah.
and you'll say, hey man, I want to be this part of this team. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you do your first deal and you're like, now I'm in the game,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. And this resounds with me so much. I think that's somewhere that you and I really align is that people don't know what they don't know, right? So, what can we do to educate and help and support people get to that place of success and hit their goals? And I just really love and I think that really comes across when you talk about it, and so. We love stripping away, crazy industry jargon and, we'll throw our own little, triple net and all these different types of acronyms that we have out there. But what is the biggest piece of complex terminology that sponsors use that actually scares away everyday families from commercial assets?
Oh gosh, there's a ton. I mean, you know, you start talking about cap rates and IRR, different lending
Yes.
terms and, you know, different debt structures and capital stacks, and people's eyes just glaze over,
Yeah.
right? That's one of the things that I have to say about the More Club is that we have fun in there.
Yeah.
You know, this should be fun. You should get up and get excited about doing this.
Yeah.
It's fun because it's always a new deal and a new partner and a new thing and a new offer you're putting out and something new. I learned something. I've been doing this 22 years. I learned something new every single,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be complex. At Elevest, it's literally on our boardroom glass. Our tagline is real estate investing simplified. Don't complicate it.
Right.
It just does not, life is complex enough.
Right.
This stuff does not need, I had a mentor years ago that would tell me, he would say this all the time. They make the water muddy. What would he say? They make the water muddy so it looks more difficult than it is, or whatever,
Yeah.
different. But it
Yeah.
was like, it's not that muddy. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not that complex. So again, I love it because people in there are brand new day one, all the way to been doing this 22 years
Yeah.
and everywhere in between. And everybody's just happy to just jump on. People will ask, well, what's a cap rate? And
Yeah.
people will just jump on and just explain it and go
Yeah.
through. Here's how you do this, and here's how you understand. And people are like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right? There's no dumb questions.
Well, and I think that's where a lot of the intimidation factor comes in. And I think the way I've built my business, number one is calling people back, getting people plugged in, and making sure I have my team around me. But so many clients that I've picked up, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you called me back." Well, yeah, but it is also about knowing where to go. And I think there's also that intimidation factor of, there's a 65 something year old, person in a man in a high rise office building, and they have all the power and they know what they're talking about, and I don't. And there's so much ego in this industry. That's something that I seek for us not to operate out of. And to truly, and I tell, just like you said, like no question's a dumb question. Every client, I say, if you think it, let me know, because even if that isn't the right question, it could lead to the right question or connection. And so I just think that's so vital. I think so many people in real estate, even commercial real estate, feel very isolated and like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this on my own. But what I hear you saying is, we've got a spot for you at the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I tell people all the time, ask every question because chances are, if you ask it in the chat,
Yep.
there are 20 other people that just didn't want to raise their hand because they thought they would
Yeah.
sound stupid. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of other people you're helping by
Yeah.
asking that question. And we're just going to pour into you, man.
Yeah. I
And
love
one
that.
thing I'll say, you just said that sparked something. You know, that whole 65-year-old man in the ivory tower that controls everything, it's not that way. That's such an old school
Yeah.
way of thinking. And I'm so grateful that we're now starting to move beyond that. I
Yes.
have met some young kids, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, that are absolutely crushing it in this
Yeah.
game
Love
just
it.
because they decided to start getting educated.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
That's the key. Well, as we start to get close to wrapping up, I just want to end with a question, kind of looking at the multifamily market in 2026. What is one major macroeconomic trend that passive investors must pay close attention to before they start giving out capital?
dude, I love this question. So this is my third market cycle, and we bought 9 assets last year, four so far this year. We just got awarded our fifth today of
Awesome.
2026. Every single deal that we bought over the last 18 months, we have bought between a 35 and a 50% discount off of the highs of the market, which were in 21, 22.
Yep.
Okay. And around 40 to 50% of what it would cost to build those assets
Yeah.
today. We're talking 200, 300 unit apartment buildings. The
Yeah.
one we got awarded today is 320 units. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are big monster apartment buildings. In my 22 years of doing this, I have never seen as much opportunity as I'm
Wow.
seeing right now in this market. Now, I will say a lot of capital, investor capital, has sat on the sidelines because it's scared, right? Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, values were at 60 million for this deal and now it's worth
Yeah.
30. Whoa, what happened? And they're seeing equity get wiped out. Yeah, welcome to market cycles. But
Right.
do you want to be buying right now? Do you want to be sitting on the sidelines? Do you want to be investing right now? Do you want to wait till they go back up to highs again? You know, that's up to you. For me, what I believe, and I do not have a crystal ball, but going through this my third time now, I believe we're kind of scraping the bottom right now
Hmm.
at the lows. Could we
Yep.
go lower? Sure. But I think we're kind of scraping the bottom of the lows right now of the market. And I think we're going to start to cruise back up. How fast that happens, nobody knows. But you got to ask yourself with multifamily, like, are people going to stop needing a place to live?
Right.
Is the
Right.
affordability gap between buying a home and paying the mortgage and all the expenses in the same apartment, the same zip code that would house your wife and
Mhm.
children, family, whatever? What's the difference there? That gap is widening. I think it's
Yeah.
going to continue to widen. And rents are going to typically double in major markets every 10 to 15 years. That's what tells us what the value of those buildings are going to be. So
Yeah.
for me, if I'm investing in a multifamily asset right now, as long as it's cash flowing day one and I'm getting passive income distributions every single month on my investment,
Yep.
I can see a 4, 5, 8, 10 year time horizon to an exit that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad we had this conversation because I just hired a new agent within the last week, and her and her husband have done some multifamily deals. And I think this is going to be an incredible resource for them. So I'm going to make sure they come and check what you guys do now. Listeners, please go check out what the More Club is doing and grab a copy of his book. We will make sure we have all of the information available there in the notes. So, Adam, man, what a great conversation. Thank you for being here and from breaking down some serious wisdom that we can share with others.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it, Caleb. And if you ever want me back, I'd be happy to join you, man. Come join the club and would love to
Yeah,
introduce you to the community.
would love that. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us here today.
Awesome, man.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you give it a like, a follow, a comment, and make sure you follow our guest and take advantage of the resources that are available. Until next time, let's keep creating space and building community. If today's episode gave you valuable commercial real estate insights, subscribe, rate, and share it. Connect with me and the David Commercial Real Estate team through the show notes. Remember, real estate is more than buildings, it's about building community. See you next time.